Well, guys, we're back. On this episode of the Facebook Marketplace Got Me Again, we're going to rip out this radiator support, or what's left of it. It seems to have served its purpose, and I'm not going to go back with the factory radiator support. I am going to actually build my own and re-angle the radiator and reposition the power steering cooler so I could have more space in here. And then as well as I'm just going to get this harness up today and probably get things labeled outright that need to be repaired. So I can come fix the connections, add any missing connectors, which there's not many, and get things prepped to really drop the motor in. The motor is pretty much ready to go in, minus some rocker arms. Oh, look at my wrench. Look how elusive that is. I just saw that there. Good God. Anyway, the motor is pretty much complete, less some rocker arms and the starter, and I want to say that's it for right now. So here it is, you guys. This is my humble little 5.3 liter engine that I have. It's going in the C5. Right here I have laid out, it's just factory LS7 clutch components and a new hydraulic throwout bearing. Something that I did want to show you guys, though, that if you plan on putting one of these truck blocks or these iron blocks into Corvette, something that you have to do for the C5 is modify the pedestal. Now, I butchered mine up a little bit, which I'm sad, especially after I powder coated it, but the engine blocks are different. As you see that boss that's in the way, that won't allow the passenger side mount to sit. So you have to cut. And admittedly, I think I could have maybe done with a little less cutting, but it's still plenty strong. And, well, I guess I know better for next time. This little aluminum wafer you see here is going to be converted into my solid aluminum motor mount. Kind of a DIY thing. And, yeah, so I guess I'll get to it. All right, here I am putting on the factory LS7 Luck clutch setup. I wanted to speak to you guys about something, and that's making sure that you have your throwout bearings shimmed for proper engagement with aftermarket clutches, especially. I'm not going to demonstrate that process here. There's tons of resources on YouTube that you guys can hit up, and they'll show you how to get it done. But keep that in mind, because that's not something you would want to do after the fact. So basically here what I'm doing is taking my time installing my pilot bushing, making sure to get that in evenly and nice, and make sure everything fits, getting all my bolts set up. And here I'm just going to use some blue Loctite to make sure everything stays in. Guys, there is a proper torque sequence and torque spec for this. I've never used one. I'm a too ugga kind of guy with the impact, and yeah, that's good for me. Just make sure before you tighten anything down that you have your alignment tool in, and that with everything kind of snugged in place, the alignment tool moves freely in and out. That's very important before you decide to take the impact or whatever, or just go and torque anything down, period. You want to have free movement in and out, because that way you can guarantee that your input shaft will have the same free movement. But just take your time. I'm super stoked about this, because this is basically the signal that it's really going in. It's really happening. So right now I'm about to gather up some sensors, bolt in here, drop this thing on a little wood moving dolly, and get her in position to fly in. I'm super excited, but there's some other things that I have to address in the meantime, one being that radiator support. But here she is. I don't think it looks too bad. A couple of my friends said it was a little cheesy, the gold and the gray, but, you know, I don't mind it. It's subtle. All right. And then we have some connections that are probably still attached to this. Yeah, the horn. What is this? Oh, that should pop out. Fuck it. What's that? Tags. What's up here? All right, I think that might be it. Ah, shit. You know what? Hold on, it's bent, so I can't access the bolt, but I know if I bend it, there you go.
this is the part where I should urge all of you to wear safety glasses when you're underneath a dirty vehicle, or any vehicle for that matter. All right, so much more room. This is gonna be great.
Well, I figured I'd give you guys a little look-see down here. This is the old throwout bearing. Um, you know, not doing too good right now. It actually only has one bolt in it, so I suppose a trip to the hardware store will be in order. But the input shaft, it looks like it's still okay. It's got some surface rust on it, but it's not torn up, which is fantastic. I gave it a little shake test. Not that that's any indicator of how the guibos really are in there, but it seems solid. So, I mean, if it lets me go around the block a couple times before I have to rebuild the torque tube, I'll be more than grateful. But anyway, the current line looks a little close to the exhaust, so I'm probably going to end up using a heat protecting wrap for that of some sort, or a sleeve. And yeah, that's about it. Maybe get some things repositioned around here because it's really close to the exhaust, and I see some connectors that already look pretty burnt. So I'm going to try to remedy that while I can. Now, if you look over here, I went and got a new throwout bearing. It's just a factory luck throwout bearing for the LS7, or it's pretty much the same for many LS cars. Not necessarily just an LS7, but it's new, so that's good. And because my friends always forsake me and never come over to help, I have a remote bleeder to help me bleed my clutch by myself. So that's a godsend. But yeah. Anyway, guys, we have the vet here. I'm going to get this wiring figured out right now. I have some incidentals, like I said, starter and some rocker arms to get before I can get this thing in there and start it up. But I think the next video will be me just actually dropping it in there. So I'll see you guys in the next one.